Welcome to another episode of Bessie's Boudoir. I'm back from the Belmont Hotel. I took a quick trip over the weekend to work on the building, and now I'm back working on the painting. So let's show you what's going on. I actually wanted to take some time today to get out my method for what's called a palette box. Why do you need a palette box? You need a palette box because these paints that you put out from your oil tubes will stay moist much longer than an acrylic paint, and especially if you add retardant to it. But if you're going to leave it overnight, you definitely want to have it in some sort of container covered to keep it nice and fresh, like so. Unfortunately, during my trip, it was just too long, and it still dried out anyway. So that's because this is not a real palette box. This is just a not airtight container. So I need to upgrade my supplies. But if you don't have a huge budget, this works, right? You just can put a layer of foil down, use it as your palette, and when you're done, look how easy it just comes. Well, careful how you do it, but it just comes right out, and then you can wipe your box, put a fresh piece of foil down, and start anew. That's what we're going to do, and I will turn the camera at an angle where you can actually watch the paints being chosen, and we'll discuss what we're using them for in this final stage of the painting. We're only working now on finishing the blue in her hair and having a more, I don't know what to call the background yet. Maybe a more whimsical background, but it still does need to fade to the background. It'll still be very simple and plain. I don't want to do too much to this because it's already great as it is, and I don't want to mess up what we have going on here. But see this ear? We're going to get in and do the details here. And we're going to need, even though I'm done with her body, we're still going to need red on this palette because your opposites are how you get your shadows, right? So if you have some green in her hair and you add the red, that's what will make a dark shadow. So we do need to pull some of those reds into her hair. We may want to speckle it somehow in a carefully thought out way for the background. We don't want to create a distraction in the background, but we also we want some unity and harmony. We don't want the hair, the body, and the background being so disparate that they don't go together. So that's it in a nutshell. Let's take a look at the paints more closely now. I love this setup. All right, so let's start with our yellows. We are mostly working with cadmium yellow, but to give it some depth, I also have used a tiny bit of yellow ochre. So let's go ahead and add both of those to the palette box. So I kind of like to keep my yellows in one area, my reds in one area, and my blues in another. Now, there's not much left of this cadmium yellow, and we're doing a large space, so I'm probably going to put a lot of this on. And I fully anticipate running out, but I have another tube as a backup for later tonight, so that is a-okay. So that's quite a bit, but I'm going even more because I just know we're gonna need a lot. So, woo! Okay, gotta have the sound effects. I've gotten very good at sound effects after being a foster mom, so my little one just loves having gestures animated with sound. Okay, the lids are back on. I have set my yellows aside. Next we get to our reds. I need 2 reds for this painting. Most of the painting is done in this cadmium red, which is brighter. This is more of a purpley crimson. You can tell there's some of the purple crimson in there. You can see more of the cadmium over here, right? And then you can see it like going into the crimson. It's very interesting how that goes together so nicely. So let's go ahead and do the same. Remember, I said we don't need much of this. I just need a tiny dab of the crimson and then just a teeny bit more of the cadmium for shadows. So we'll throw those in there. Okay, that's good. That's probably going to be all the red I use for the rest of the painting. Then we have a cobalt blue for her hair. And I can pull the reds and yellows in as needed to create depth in that blue. So the only other blue that I have right now is a French ultramarine. I'll show you what that looks like comparatively. I think I'm just not going there. It's easy enough to darken my cobalt blue. Oop, let's turn that the right way. There we go. See the French ultramarine? It's just got a different feeling to it. And I think I want something like, brighter. This is a very like pop image. Oops, sorry, it just bumped the camera there. So we will go with this. I'm happy with that. Okay. Last bit, titanium white. Why do I have two? Because I'm just stressing, always have extra of the white. If you don't, at least for me, psychologically, I get bothered, worried. Oh no, what if I run out of white while the canvas is still wet and then it dries before I can get, new white. Just load up your white. And what I've been doing with the white is, yes, I'll have a pure white area, but I like to have a dollop in between the colors so I can pull it in as needed when I'm trying to make a light yellow, a light red, a light blue. In fact, I'll probably have 3 dollops. One that's cool blue, one for red, one for yellow. So it's so simple. It's just a bunch of dollops, but this is how I have been and will continue to set up my palette boxes for the remainder of this painting. Thanks so much for watching. Join us later in the actual boudoir, not the kitchen, for updates on how it turns out. All right, folks, time for this mama bear to go pick up baby bear from daycare. We'll see you later.